It started with a look, a glance that could make anyone feel small. The young woman walked into the boardroom, carrying only her confidence and a folder of papers. But to the billionaire at the head of the table, she was nothing more than a curiosity. Another self-proclaimed heiress, he muttered under his breath, smirking at the audacity. The whispers spread quickly. Some executives chuckled behind their hands, others exchanged skeptical looks. They thought this would be a brief, amusing encounter. They didn't realize this was the moment everything would change. She didn't falter. Her posture was straight, her gaze steady, and her voice calm yet firm as she introduced herself. She explained her family lineage, tracing decades of wealth, connections, and legal documentation that validated her claim. The room's laughter began to fade as she laid out account statements, signed documents, and legal correspondence. Each paper she presented was a puzzle piece, forming a picture that was impossible to ignore. The billionaire leaned back, initially amused, believing that anyone could fabricate such claims, but her precision was undeniable. Questions came from all sides meant to trip her up, but she answered each one with clarity. Her voice didn't shake, her evidence didn't falter. The board members, some clearly uncomfortable, began cross-referencing her documents. Subtle shifts in the room's energy signaled a dawning realization. This wasn't a bluff. Every detail she had shared was verified, and every verification confirmed her story. The air thickened with tension, and for the first time, the billionaire's confident smirk wavered. Wember Vermuntingwitcation Force 20, Freakfear. His amusement gave way to unease. The young woman's composure turned what should have been mockery into admiration, even if grudging. She didn't need to argue. The facts spoke for themselves. Every ledger, every sign, every connection she revealed was a reminder that preparation and truth could not be overshadowed by wealth or status. The billionaire realized that the assumptions he had made about her age, about her appearance, were completely wrong. Underestimated not only her courage but her knowledge, her preparation, and her legitimacy. When she concluded, the room fell silent. It was the kind of silence that demanded attention. Board members exchanged looks, pulled out laptops, and verified her information against official records. One by one, confirmations came through. The woman was, beyond any doubt, the rightful heir. The billionaire, once so full of mockery, now looked pale and uncertain. His dominance in the room was gone, replaced by a sudden awareness of his error. The very person he had intended to dismiss had, in a matter of minutes, overturned assumptions, challenged authority, and commanded respect without raising her voice or showing anger. The victory wasn't loud or dramatic. It was in the calm certainty of truth, the meticulous proof that could not be denied. For she had walked in as an underdog, dismissed and underestimated, and now every eye in the room saw her differently. Billionaire, now forced to confront reality, could only watch as the young woman, composed and confident, quietly proved that legitimacy, courage, and preparation were worth more than any sneer, any mockery, or any initial doubt. Board members, acknowledging the facts, began nodding in agreement, leaving him with the realization that he had misjudged her entirely. In that tense, electric room, history had been rewritten. She was no longer just a girl claiming to be an heiress. She was the rightful heir, recognized by everyone in authority, and the billionaire had no choice but to accept it. And in that moment, every whisper, every chuckle, every doubt had been replaced by respect, leaving the audience to wonder what would happen next when she stepped fully into the world that had tried to dismiss her. The room was heavy with tension, every second stretching like a heartbeat that refused to end. The billionaire, usually the picture of confidence and control, now sat frozen, pale, and uncertain. He had faced competitors, lawyers, and critics before, but never someone who could dismantle assumptions so completely, without raising a hand in anger or resorting to theatrics. She had walked in as the underdog, dismissed by his arrogance, and now, in the space of mere minutes, she had seized authority with nothing but truth, precision, and quiet confidence. The young woman remained calm, almost serene, as she watched the board members check documents, check account statements, and cross-reference legal claims. She didn't need to speak louder or demand recognition. The facts spoke for her. Every ledger, every notarized statement, every email chain corroborated her story. With each confirmation, the billionaire's composure eroded further. His usual smirk, his sharp tone, and his air of superiority gave way to unease. This was unfamiliar territory for him, a place where wealth and influence could not protect him from reality. Then came the moment of acknowledgement. One of the senior board members, a figure normally reserved and careful, spoke up. All documents have been verified. Her claim is legitimate. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the room. Rule house, another executive added, Every account, every investment, and every legal line confirms her inheritance. The words fell like heavy stones in the boardroom, and the billionaire realized there was no argument left to make. Mockery had failed. Dismissal had failed. All that remained was truth, and it was irrefutable. He tried to compose himself, opening his mouth to challenge the validation, but no words came. Each glance toward the young woman was a reminder of the mistake he had made. He had prepared for this moment for years, meticulously gathering proof, consulting experts, and quietly ensuring that no detail could be questioned. Her calm determination was a mirror, reflecting his misjudgment and arrogance back at him. His subtle attempt at intimidation had only highlighted her resilience and command. When the board formally confirmed her status as heiress, a hush fell across the room. Papers were signed, acknowledgments made, and the young woman's place in the legacy she belonged to was officially recognized. Billionaire, once untouchable, now faced a quiet humiliation. His authority, built over decades of wealth and influence, had crumbled under the weight of preparation and truth. He realized that mocking her had not only been wrong but dangerous. It had underestimated the power of persistence, and self-belief. Outside the boardroom, the young woman walked with a calm pride that required no celebration. She had faced doubt, ridicule, and bias, yet emerged victorious. The board members, who had once whispered skeptically, now looked at her with respect. She had proven that being underestimated could be turned into an advantage, that preparation and courage could silence mockery, and that truth always demanded. Glance, every nod, every quiet agreement was a reminder that she had not just claimed her inheritance, she had claimed respect, authority, and recognition on her own terms. The billionaire, now silent, had no choice but to accept reality. He learned a hard lesson: no wealth, no position, no arrogance could override preparation, courage, and undeniable truth. In that room, the young woman had rewritten history, not with anger, not with confrontation, but with poise, evidence, and unwavering confidence. Social media would later share the story worldwide, but in that boardroom, it was more than inheritance. It was about resilience, truth, and the courage to face those who doubted you. As she left, the room seemed different. The power dynamics had shifted. The billionaire had been forced to acknowledge her legitimacy, and every person present knew they had witnessed a moment of transformation. She had turned mockery into triumph, doubt into validation, and silence into authority. And as she walked away, calm but unshakable, one thought lingered in everyone's mind. Sometimes, the quietest voice is the one that commands the most power.